Okay guys, in this tutorial we're gonna learn about absolute positioning, and the major difference between absolute and fixed div, let's say, will be in that fixed div will always be somewhere fixed, but absolute div will move. It will track scrolling and it will track the rest of the content on a page. So let's fix this example a little bit. Here I'm gonna revert to 400 pixels, so the width of second and first one will be same, and let's push this yellow one down there. Okay, so top will be substituted with bottom. There you go guys. So let's change this static to absolute, because the tutorial is about absolute positioning, right? Still no changes? Well, fine. Why? Because you need to state here coordinates in the same way as you state coordinates for fixed div. So let's say top will be 0 pixels, and also from left we will have 0 pixels, which means that practically we will lose this slight like a margin here. Check this out. There you go guys, that's the thing. Now what's the major difference between absolute and fixed? Well, fixed one will destroy absolute one, that's the one thing. There you go. But the absolute one do have ability to scroll. So you will see that better when you have some kind of content in the background of that div. So let me steal code from myself. I will grab that and let's put it up here to have some kind of usable, let's say, content. Couple of times I'm gonna copy paste this to activate that scroll option in browser. Let me see, still no scroll. A couple of times more, let's say, refresh, and there you go guys. Now we have a scroll, and the difference is that this all content, including paragraph and div, will move. They will move. See? But fixed one is still fixed, no matter the size of your browser. See? The absolute one and paragraphs will scroll, but fixed one will not. So the common thing about absolute and fixed, that both of these guys need to have coordinates, because if they don't have coordinates, then you can just say static here. Right, so where this thing is useful? Well, we're gonna push paragraphs as some kind of useful content to left, and we will turn absolute div in advertising. Let's say Google Advert, something like that. So let's do that in HTML. We will say div here with a class content. Why? Because we need to push all these paragraphs to left to remove this kind of chaos and overlapping. So let's close that div down there, here, /div. Okay, and let's fix it in CSS by targeting specific class content, and we will say here width of those paragraphs, I mean div width of paragraph will be 600 pixels. Okay, let's test that. Nice, kinda nice, nice for preparation. And let's go to 500 pixels. Right, and now when we scroll, same situation. Fixed one is a fixed one, but absolute one rolls. And now let's turn this div, absolute div, in advertising. Well, to do that we will push it here, and it will still be movable. How to do that? Well, you will have top 0, but you will say right here, right, and that's it. So just imagine that this is some kind of banner from Google or for some other companies, and these things will move and they will not destroy each other, and this thing will destroy paragraphs and advertising if I resize browser. Okay, see, it is destroying paragraphs, invisible paragraphs, and it will destroy both of these in the background. See? So a fixed one is aggressive one. Right, so you will say, okay, but what if I want to have this like imaginary banner like fixed here? Well, just change absolute to fixed. And now the paragraphs will move, but these two bad boys will stay here. See? Okay, but this is tutorial about absolute one, so let's go to absolute and that thing will move. There you go, guys. Well, how to see that better? Let me think. What is the dimension of Google advertising? Like a big banner, 300 pixels, and another dimension is I think 1050 pixels. And let's give it background color to be like aggressive red, and font will be like white, something like that. There you go, guys. It looks like a beginning of some website. So you will say, okay, we're using coordinates here, right? Well, what about padding? Well, the thing is, with the padding you target internal text, so you cannot use padding to push this container like a left. You need coordinates to do that, or margins. So let's work with coordinates. From a top, that will be, let's say, 10 pixels, and from a right, that will be 25 pixels, which is a lot, but it will nicely illustrate. See? There you go. And what about padding? Well, padding, when you say that, from a right side, then we are just talking about internal text, and it will just flush that thing for 25 pixels to left side. Let me test that. There you go, guys. And what is happening with the size of that thing? Will that thing actually change size like to more than 300? So if you say 50 pixels, that thing will move. Well, why it will move? Because padding and right coordinate will overlap. So that's kind of stupid. So just don't use padding if you don't understand overlapping that much, and you will get that over practice. So let's just stick with the normal stuff. Right, if you say just padding, then you will pad all over the place for example 2 pixels. Right, something like that. And okay, so let's remove that because I don't want to confuse myself and you. And let's stick with positioning. So this div is absolutely positioned, but it can move, of course, that's the whole point. And this one is aggressively positioned in the left side. And of course, you can position it here for some very weird reason, but yeah, let's do that for practice. So we're gonna target top for a second one, and right for another coordinate. And now that thing will again destroy everything, but it will be there all the time. There you go, guys. For some reason, maybe information to visitor of page, you wanna have that aggressive fixed div, maybe, but that's very aggressive, you know, guys. Don't do that. Right. Okay, let's push it down there, which is kind of default in our tutorials. Bottom, B-O-T on, right. And there you go, guys. That's pretty much it. Just remember that if you use absolute or fixed, then in both cases you need to state coordinates, because if you don't do that, you will run into this situation. See, it will be mess pretty much. So where is our absolute div? Well, it is somewhere after the paragraph. And where is fixed one? Well, I don't see it actually. I don't see it because it is not existing right now, practically, because I don't have coordinates. But when I have coordinates, then it will be activated right here. And this is a very ugly page for now, but you know, just stick with the coordinates. top and the right 1025. There you go. Okay guys, that's pretty much it in this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and see you next one.